your target. You're listening to Siege the Show, the #1 podcast dedicated to the Rainbow Six Siege community.
What up, and welcome to episode 32 of Siege's Show, the #1 podcast dedicated to the Rainbow Six Siege community. I'm your host, Too Loud TX, and here with me today, my co-host, the man himself, Mr. Remorse.
What's up, everybody?
Glad to have you back, man. Glad to have you here. Glad you can make it another week. It's a record for you, 2 weeks in a row now. So let's keep it up. Our guest today. Wait, I got special music for this one. All right, you ready? I'm gonna try to.
Good.
I timed this out, so it should be perfect for him. So here we go. Here it is. Our guest today from the Mount Pleasant, Michigan, with his new ticket in hand to Montreal for the Rainbow Six Siege Invitational. One of the stars from ERA Eternity Esports, and known as Slashug, the man himself, Slashug. What's going on, buddy? How are you doing?
I'm really liking the special intro for me.
You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I try to time it out
Not,
just right.
Not a
for
big
you.
fan of the trash hug, but you know, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's an earned title, so I guess I gotta live with it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it in your Twitch handle, so I figured I'd go with it.
Yeah, that's fun.
So, obviously, guys, this is the podcast dedicated to the reddit.com/r/Rainbow Six Siege Reddit page. So go check that out, guys. Go give them some love. Go over there, participate in the community. Obviously, some great things over there as well that you can see and be part of the community with. But let's jump right in here, Slash. Let's talk about you, man. Let's talk about, congratulations, obviously, to you for yesterday's win.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
How excited are you guys? Did you scream like a bunch of girls when you won? I mean, what happened?
Yeah, we actually have I have the clip of when it's uploaded on YouTube. It gets really loud. I think everyone peaks their mic, and you're gonna want to turn your volume down if you listen to it. But we were just like overly excited to have like finally won. This has been on our mind for like literally since we won the first qualifier. This is all we've been thinking about and practicing for.
Oh, for
sure.
So
to finally just like see it all come through and we get like that ticket, it was.
Oh man, I'd be going crazy. I want to get that ticket. I wish I was going. Actually, I was going to buy a ticket, but my passport expired last month, and I didn't even notice. So I'm not going. But I'll be yeah, for real. But I will be watching for sure. But yeah, I bet that was a lot of fun, man. I know you work towards anything like that, especially like fans of a game like we all are, and you want to go to that next level, and then all of a sudden there you are getting that ticket in hand. It's got to be super exciting. So I would be screaming like a girl, no question.
Yeah.
But I was excited for you guys as well. I mean, it wasn't an easy road either yesterday.
No, we had to battle our way through it. The other teams really showed up to play yesterday.
Yeah, and that was awesome to watch.
Yeah, Ferocity really like kind of showed us how kind of lax we'd been getting with our opponents. So like we really had to like kick it up to the next gear to beat them. That was probably the hardest match we played of the whole night. Was that first best of 3 against Ferocity. Yeah,
because you guys got to 1-1, right? And then you got to Skyscraper, and you guys were actually tell me if I'm correct. I believe this was the match. You guys had 2 guys alive, and they actually had 5, and you guys won that round, and that's when the game started turning around for you.
Yeah, it was actually so we lost the first map on border. We lost 6-4 in overtime. And that was Skyscraper. We started out still slow. Couldn't like keep the pressure up. We were losing 3-4. If we lost that round, we would have like gone to the losers back. Avian and K9 clutched a 2v5. Did a reverse mode where instead of losing a 2v5, you win a 2v5.
Right.
And that was a really hype moment. I think it sort of like made everyone step it up a little bit. Realize, we can't just like get by like this. We gotta start like putting some more pressure on, playing a little better.
So I was at the office yesterday. I have to work every once in a while on Saturdays, and I work in the car industry. And whenever I'm in the car industry, occasionally, probably I don't know, every 5 Saturdays I have to work. And yesterday the tournament was on, so I watched it. And obviously I'm seeing this play out right for you guys on Skyscraper. And literally, I'm just stand up. I'm like, oh my God, they won the round. And like, people were like, what is going on? What are you doing? So it was really funny to see that happen. Everybody obviously started watching over my shoulder. Like, what are you watching? What are you getting so hyped about? But it just like you guys I got super hyped as a viewer watching it and seeing you guys pull that off. And it was really, I know that the commentaries that were going on while your game was playing, like, oh, air's starting out slow. They're really not doing what we know they can do, and they were kind of like, looks like Ferocity, he's gonna run away with it, and all of a sudden you guys just completely you changed it around.
Yeah.
180.
I mean, I don't really blame them for saying that stuff because it was definitely true. We definitely weren't playing our best right away.
Right.
But I tried my best to get everyone going. I think me and Snake had us like pretty explosive couple first rounds on Skyscraper. And then eventually everyone else started going like, all right, we got to do better. People started stepping it up, and the whole team ended up playing really well in the end. And that's why we went all the way to the finals, because the whole team stepped it up and just started playing well.
Yeah, it was really awesome to watch that. If you guys missed those games yesterday, definitely go watch it on the Rainbow Six Twitch. Definitely go watch it on YouTube. You got to check it out. It was an awesome group of matches. It was a lot of fun. Well, let's learn a little bit about Slash here, man. Tell me a little bit about how you got to this point yesterday. How you got, in your gaming journey here, and how you became part of ERA.
This is like my first real competitive game I played. I played CS a bit, but like not a lot. And I played TF2, but I was like really bad at it. I was never really like amazing at any game. But so I got this game in the closed beta, and I actually started playing with Remorse, I think, in the closed beta.
He spent the first 6 months being terrible.
I was like legit gold or silver the first like 4 or 5 months.
Way to highlight that, Remorse.
I mean, he was not wrong. Like, Remorse wouldn't play ranked with me because I would ruin his rank. But we started playing in like this group called the Cantina, which is just like a bunch of people we met in the beta. And it was just like whenever you met someone good in the game, you just invite them to this Discord so that they can find more people to play with.
Right.
But eventually, like, I formed a team out of that called Blue Esports, and we were really bad, and we never really like won anything. I think we won 2 matches in Go Fours, and then like the team disbanded. But I joined like this team called Nemesis, which is actually a lot of the Flipside players from like present day. They were on a team called Nemesis, and this is like start of season 1, and like right around the times that the Pro League qualifiers were happening for season 1 of Pro League. So I was a substitute on that team, and eventually I just kept playing with them, like filling for scrims, and I learned a lot about the game, and I improved a lot. And then we all joined Gotham Gaming, or eventually it was like this really weird shuffle of like players. I don't really remember like all the moves, but it was I ended up joining Gotham Gaming as a sub too. And then this is right around the time that we played EGE in to qualify for season 2 Pro League, which we lost. So our team didn't qualify. But I got an offer from True Ambition, which was a team in season 2 Pro League, to start for them. So I played for them for all of season 2. We got 4th place, mainly because we lost to Remorse's team. And I don't know, I guess just after playing all that time, I like improved a lot, and Snake from Orbit like kind of noticed. And then when Canadian and Young left that team, they approached me and Hot and Cold and asked us if we wanted to come try out. It didn't really work out for Hot and Cold, but they liked me, so they kept me on the team. And then I also played with Avian on another team, just for like sort of like a team while we didn't have team sort of thing, just to like stay relevant and like practice.
Right.
And I was like, Avian was really good from that. We need another player. Let's go get Avian. And so that's kind of how our team formed for that season, and how I sort of made it onto ERA.
So you give hope for everybody out there that didn't start the game like on top, like maybe some of the other people that we chat with. right? Or even Remorse starting, immediately as a sub. I think the first time I met him, he was summoned for Kingdom in season 1. So, there's hope for you out there. You just keep playing, keep trying, right? Keep learning, obviously, and you can, maybe get your ticket to Montreal one day.
Yeah,
Here.
I just I mean, I had a goal, and I wanted to get really good at the game. I never really thought about playing in Pro League and going to LANs and whatnot, but it was just sort of I really like the game and I want to get really good at it. And I didn't know anything about FPSs. My sensitivity was like 2000 DPI, really high. I had no knowledge of what a good sense was, what proper settings were, or
right.
really anything about how to play and improve at a game. But I just sort of stuck around, put as much work in as I can, and then it just sort of it pays off, I guess, put in all that hard work and improving into something you really love.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Obviously, right? I mean, here we are. You're on your way to Montreal.
Yeah, I remember when Slash back in Slash back in season 2 had this kind of awkward in between moment where it was post Nemesis, but before he got onto a Pro League team. And I remember talking with him at one point where he ended up getting on the team because we I don't know, we've always spoken back and forth since the start of the game. I remember him sending me a message okay, so I'm just going to be a Thermite main now. And he just put down something like 60 hours on Thermite in the course of a month or two. A little bit over a month. And because Thermite's a rare thing. Rarely do you see players actually want to play Thermite, or more even after that, being a good Thermite. And Slash was able to take that role that everyone absolutely loathes and was able to turn that into a role that, one, that he was able to actually frag on, and two, became one of the best Thermites in North America. And now he's rotated off of Thermite onto Habana, because, I mean, that being said, even though he was a good Thermite, still isn't the most ideal of thing. And since he has switched from the Thermite to the Habana, we've seen, at least on a general statistics base, we've seen him become the top fragger even more frequently. Notably throughout the qualifiers, he was top fragging in the majority of those games. Was able to take up the slack because even though some of his other teammates, while they were sick, weren't getting as many frags as they normally do, but he was able to compensate, still playing that Habana. So he's become one of the best, I guess, breach operator players, I think, really in NA and globally. So yeah, it just goes to show, you just focus on one thing and become the best at it.
Yeah, I sort of just right now, whatever we need, I just kind of play it. I think on attack, depending on maps, I play 7 different operators on attack, but it usually falls into a breaching role.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like you're saying, I mean, just even I think it's a good tip too. Remorse is maybe grab a role and focus on getting good at that role, right? And that can lead on to more and more things. Yesterday was, man, it was just a great day, I think, for everybody around. It was fun to see all the teams play. Fun to see 6,000, 7,000 people watching at all times at least. I don't know what the high count got to on Twitch, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, how do you guys think overall the tournament went yesterday?
Really
I think
badly.
Yeah, it was not a good structured way to have a tournament where you play for 11 and a half hours in one day and play. We played 63 rounds yesterday of Pro League gameplay. And honestly, if I had to play another best of 3 after we won, after we won, if they were all right, now you gotta play one more, I would have forfeited because I probably would have died during the match. My brain was hurting, my body was hurting, I just wanted to sleep. And
yeah.
If they were to do it again, I would say 2 days, maybe, or maybe even 3.
It needed to be a 2-day event.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
not
I was surprised they
force
didn't
it all
move
in one day.
I'm surprised they didn't have half of yesterday was PC and then the other half was Xbox, and then do another half of each today. That seemed like would have been the good thing, I think, and hopefully maybe moving forward, maybe that's a good way to do it. You know what I mean? If they only have 2 days to cram it in, don't just do one day all PC because, like you said, it puts the players in a different position, right?
Right,
Yeah,
it
Very
sucks for the
different
players.
position.
You could very easily see yesterday how it affected teams. Like Ferocity versus them at the start of the day, absolutely destroyed Flipside convincingly, but then at the end of the day they looked super sloppy and they looked tired,
Yeah.
And
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
people were saying oh, the NA gameplay was sloppy. It's yeah, we played from 3 p.m. and I think we finished at 11:30 p.m. at night. It was an insanely long day, and obviously near the end of the day, I'm you could tell how tired the casters were, and they weren't even playing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a great point. Yeah. I mean, they definitely need to break it up. They definitely need to not push it all through in one day. I mean, even for me as a viewer, like I said, I really enjoyed watching yesterday, but I was at my job, so I could have it running on one screen while I was doing everything else. But today, man, I just slept in. I didn't really get to catch into the Xbox stuff. I was kind of worn out from just watching yesterday, So I mean, that's I mean, I think you make some great points there. I mean, what do you guys think about this though? What do you think about putting the loser bracket on a different stream like they were doing yesterday?
Well, they tried to.
Yeah.
It's just that the person, they didn't vet the. I mean, you can't harp on the guy too much. It was his first time doing it. But the fact of the matter is that ESL needed to train him, they needed to give him a I forget what you call it, but kind of an intro of the stream, essentially. Make sure that everything runs for him properly. Make sure that he has everything down, because in the first stream that he did, is that it ended up that he ran the improper settings, which meant that our game had to stop halfway through. It means that the momentum is gone. It means that you have to then stop and pause and figure out what the hell's going on. Does he remake the game? It already took 20 minutes to make the game in the first place because of miscellaneous issues. And so the admins ended up just being like, we have to move this along or else the mainstream is going to be delayed. So the admins just took over and then ran the games off stream. So what sucks about that is because it's not solely Ranger's fault, but he does have some part of it. But it's also ESL's fault for not properly preparing him, because you can't expect someone that doesn't have experience in something yet to perform it perfectly the first time. It's unrealistic.
No, absolutely.
So
he also, from what I saw, only had a day or two notice that he was going to be doing these events.
Exactly. He wasn't even given a proper heads up. They were just like, well, you know what? We don't have too many community casters. Here you go. Fell on his lap. He had to prepare as quickly as possible. Obviously, there's nerves in that. He's casting for the first time and not really being overly familiar with it. And it just kind of sucked for everyone involved. It sucks for the organizations that didn't get the exposure. It sucks for the players that have to have their game interrupted halfway through, have the momentum completely destroyed, have people get angry, get a little bit more tilted because now they're about ready to go into the next round and then game's over because the improper settings were done. And it gives the other team to fully prep and either the teams to either calm down more or to get more angry as they're waiting. And it's just an awkward in between. It sucks for so many different reasons. Where it would have just been done better overall had there just been more preparation. A lot of these events just feel like there's just not enough preparation. And it's really the biggest downfall.
I think it goes back to what we were saying is stretch it out, right? They were trying to cram it all in one day. And so when they try to do that, they were trying to send you to another stream to watch it, and it wasn't good for the viewer. I can tell you that much. And that's why I wanted to bring this point up is for me is all right, let me switch back over here. Okay. Let me go back over here, whatever, it just didn't seem to be a very seamless thing. And it seemed kind of convoluted. I think if they stretched it out, like we were saying, more days, I mean, then you also give respect to all the teams that put in all this time. Cause sure, maybe some teams practice more than others, but all teams deserve the same respect, I think, as far as how their games are handled, how their games are casted. If you want a different crew to do it, okay, but at least get some guys that know what they're doing or, that are familiar with the process of that game, right? And how to cast that game a little more. So
yeah,
that's why I brought it up. I was wondering from a player's perspective, how you guys felt. I mean, obviously for you guys over at ERA, you guys didn't have to worry about, going to that other stream at all.
No, only the first match of the day we played was Ranger like overslept through it, so the admin streamed it anyway. So but like also another thing with the casting is they had really weird like caster pairings yesterday on the main stream.
Yeah.
Right?
It doesn't really make sense to have Verdi and Kixstar casting together since they're both like color
Analysts.
and yeah, they more analyze the game and not do play by play. Kix has never really done play by play, and it's kind of hard for Verdi to do play by play because you have to do it really fast and like his English is not like his strongest language, and having to like say like a bunch of English stuff really fast doesn't really work out all the time. And then you had on the other hand you had two play by play together for the EU one with Bloodbath and Panky.
And then not being able to give
Right.
proper proper analysis of the strats being utilized and the why teams are doing what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it was a little weird that like, plus like it's already like tried and true that like Panky and Kix do a good job together. I'm sure Bloodbath and Verdi could have done a great job together. I didn't really see the reason to like break that up.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Bloodbath and Verdi are doing it today on the Xbox. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Like
they're
it's
doing a
what-
great job. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
they work a lot more. They work better, I guess.
I want to play a clip from yesterday, and Remorse, you don't have to respond to this. Okay,
I already
you
have
don't
one.
have to if you don't want to. All right.
I got
Or
words.
I think I know what it is.
I want to hear. I want to hear what Slashug thinks about it. All right,
Okay.
here we go.
But Clubhouse and you
Skyscraper.
have
It makes sense.
Skyscraper.
They did just again. They've got practice on it.
Yeah.
They just played
Flipside
the
had
map.
too,
They
by the way.
what?
Flipside had too. They played Astral Authority on the map. But
Yeah, they did.
not much.
I don't know if that's practice.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're gonna.
All right, so Slash, what do you think about a caster making a plug at a team like that? Like just kind, obviously,
I think
you know.
if he wanted, I get, sorry, I get what he was trying to say is that he thinks they were a weaker opponent, but that's sort of like a rude way to say it. Like if you wanted to say like, they played it, but the team they played wasn't as strong on it. You could have just said something like, they played Astral, but Astral, some nicer way where like you don't basically are saying like, yeah, but that team's not even like practice to play against. It's just kind of rude.
Yeah,
I mean, I think definitely you gotta think like you have what I don't know how many people were watching at that time, but probably like 4,000 or 5,000 people
Approximately
watching.
7,000 people.
And you're
yeah, it's
just
about 7,000 people watching.
as someone that people listen to, it's kind of like not right to just say like disregard all the work Astral puts in.
I mean, obviously, I'm a little biased, right? Because Remorse is a buddy of mine, and I like watching Serenity play. So, like, I like watching Astral play as a fan of the game and as friends. But Remorse, I mean, do you wanna say something about it? I mean,
Okay, so we got a Remorse rant here. So,
I'll mute my mic.
okay,
for this
so
one.
I do have and bear with me here. I've been drinking somewhat, so if I don't explain it in the best of ways, then I do apologize in advance. But first, to preface what I'm about to say here is one. Before going into this, I'm very aware that we're not like we're not like one of the top 3 teams. We don't perform in the qualifiers. We lost against Ferocity in qualifier number 3, and we lost in this one. So I get that we are in the lower end of the top 4 teams, but the fact of the matter is that, well, we did make it to qualifiers to prove that we're a top 4 team. So I'm going to say that to start off. 2 is that I don't hate Kix personally, so please don't start like fanboying on me right here as I go into this. It's going to be really annoying and I'm going to ignore it. And the last reason, or I guess like the last, like before I go into it type thing is, yes, I'm biased towards myself because it directly affects me. It directly relates to me. And I'm going to add a 4th reason because I forgot it earlier. And that's that, yes, everyone's entitled to an opinion. Everyone is entitled to an opinion. But the fact of the matter is, when you're hired to give an objective opinion, that's when I take issue with this. So I'm going to start leading into it. And that's first and foremost. That's really what I'm going to center everything around. Is that when someone is hired to be an analyst, someone who's supposed to break down the game, the pro league play, the high level play, to a simpler fashion, so that the public, or I guess the lesser informed, can kind of figure it out, similar to what you see in football, similar to what you see in, I guess, soccer. That's going to trigger the EU guys. But a lot of regular sports, they have a lot of analysts, and they break down the sport, they break down the game so that people can understand the differences between the teams, why they're strong and why they're weak. When you have an analyst, someone that's a position of influence in front of 7,000 people that you can assume aren't really familiar with the game at a high level of play, and when you have one analyst go, well, so-and-so team has, they actually did play this map earlier today, and the other caster goes, well, yeah, they did play this map earlier today against Astral, and the other caster just goes, yeah, if you can really consider that practice, that's not only rude to the team, that shows arrogance in general being an analyst, that shows bias. And I have issues with that because I have no problem with people telling me that my team is bad. I'm very aware of it. We don't place in the top 3. I'm very familiar with that fact. But the reason why I have a problem with it is because any other analyst, or really anyone that's not in a, I guess, biased type of position, should have gone through and they should have actually provided reasons why they think that the team wasn't good practice, because that's a totally valid opinion. If you think that a team is bad and so therefore that they aren't good practice. And the way to phrase that would have been something maybe like this. If you had gone through and he responded, well, yeah, they did play against Astral earlier today, but historically, through their past matches, through the qualifiers, through Go 4 Cups, and through previous playings with Continuum, with ERA, they have proven that they have already lost against those teams before. So although that Flipside actually already has played against Astral, and that these other teams have played against Astral on Skyscraper, they might, although that they won it, they might not have actually gleaned anything important from it, because since they have already lost to those other teams, they might not actually see the flaws in their strategies. They might not see anything that they can learn from, or they might not find anything new that Astral's doing that the other teams aren't. So because of that, I don't think that kind of practice, or I don't think that game, I don't think they maybe wouldn't have taken anything away from it. So because of that, I don't think that it's actually going to assist them in their upcoming game against ERA. If you had actually given an objective review of things, if you had actually gone through and explained which one is going to make more sense for the viewers, you're like, oh, that's right, they lost against ERA earlier on this same map. So if they've already beaten Astral once on this map, the only new things that Flipside could possibly gain is from Astral. So even if they gain anything from Astral, ERA already knows how to beat it. So because of that, then the practice doesn't really matter. The game, it doesn't really matter. If you had gone through that and explained it, if you had actually given an explanation of why, then it would have made more sense. But instead, he just scoffs and says, if you can actually consider that practice, if that's actually practice, which is sheer arrogance. I mean, that's what that is at its core. It's rude and it's unbecoming of someone who is put in a position to explain the game to 7,000 people. Because now that means that Astral, the organization, and the players have to go through and they're like, well, Kixstar said that you guys weren't even good practice. But when you go through and you look at the score lines and you see that we're taking teams to overtime on the map, ERA beat us 5-2. ERA's a better team. Flipside took us to overtime. They ended up winning overtime. So you can argue that, yes, Flipside's better than Astral. But how much better? You can't just outright say, oh, you can't even consider that team as practice, because that would imply that team is trash. That team isn't good at all. And I think that that's not giving good analysts, or I think that's not giving a good analysis, and that's not being a good analyst. And that's really the issue that I have with it. I think that it's not only is it just insulting directly to the team, to the players, to the time they put in, because it doesn't matter if someone says that you're bad, but at least give an explanation on why you're bad. Say why you're bad. Give an actual reasoning for it. So,
well, from a fan of the game, and obviously, doing a podcast in the community, trying to be part of the community, help the community grow, help the game grow. I just think when you're trying to do that, and you have an analyst who gets on there and slanders one of the top 4 teams, to me, they're not helping the community at all. They're not helping the game at all. And there's fans of every team, so it's not just because it's Astral, it's any team. You go on there and you say, like, Playing Ducks, they go on there and talk about Playing Ducks has a lot of fans that follow them and watch them. All of a sudden, now you talk about them and that give them some slander. All of a sudden, you're going to get bad press from that. You're going to have bad people from that. So for me, it doesn't help the game. It doesn't help his credibility either in that situation. So
Right.
that was my biggest thing when it comes to it. And what I was questioning was, like, and I wanted to hear not just from you. I knew you'd give me a response remorse, but from Slash, from outside, from somebody that it didn't affect directly how he had felt about it. So anything you want to say on it, Slash, before we move on?
Yeah, as like when your job's to be objective, everything you have to say kind of has to be objective. Like you can't just
Right.
it's sort of like cheating. It's sort of like being lazy about it because he obviously. I'm not gonna like it was practice. It was like a good like game to get like our skyscraper set up, but like it's sort of like a cop out just to say, oh, it wasn't practice, when you could go through like an explanation on why it wasn't and like
Right.
why they're like a weaker team on that map. But I don't like the laziness in it, like do your job kind of deal,
No. He could have gone through and explained, yeah, we're a weaker team, but explain why we're a weaker team. Don't just be like, yeah, they're not good. They're not even practice.
Yeah,
maybe where you don't match up right. Yeah, maybe
Right.
There
are a myriad of reasons as to why you
in this
lose
area.
things. And
Yeah,
you just brush them all off like that. You leave the viewers in the dark. You mislead a lot of them, and it means you're not a good analyst if you do that kind of stuff.
Well,
It means you're just not a good analyst.
About yesterday, one other thing I want to ask you guys about, it's been a topic throughout social media this week on Rainbow Six, is like the disconnect issue. And yesterday, I know that like whenever we see these tournaments live, a lot of times, man, there's been a lot of problems. It's like, all right, another 5-minute break, another 10-minute break. Those did seem a little less yesterday, although they still occurred. I mean, is that just from a viewer standpoint, or are you guys still seeing that quite a bit when you're playing in these tournaments, that you're having a lot of like, okay, let's restart, get back in the group together, get back in the lobby together? Are those getting any better? From your standpoint?
I've noticed they happened a lot less. Like, we only had a player drop one time on our team,
Right.
and that was on Consulate. And
Okay.
we just rehosted and we ended up winning. But I don't know, I feel like a lot of these people now who like played the game a lot, and like everyone in the scene's pretty much been around a long time, and like any like common issues we kind of have sorted out. So maybe that's causing less disconnects. So we've already gone through like the troubleshooting process of what was causing them before.
Right.
But yeah, like even yesterday, Pojo had one too, where his internet like crashed or something, and like it's not, stopping those would be great because we don't like stopping the momentum in the game either, and we also don't like the stream stopping either. It hurts viewership as well. So I think maybe put some more focus into stopping those, because there still were, while there were like, didn't feel like there were as many, there was still like pretty long periods of breaks. Like we had almost a 20-minute break during the final.
Right.
And, like that's insane, and that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I saw. Like I said, I saw a bunch of people. I mean, and I don't know if it's because there's more people playing from Christmas, and they're carrying over, and people are asking questions, or a lot of new players, or maybe people coming back to the game because the Invitational is bringing back interest. I don't know what it was, but I saw a lot of people asking this week about disconnect issues. Like, hey, Rainbow, hey, Ubisoft, can you fix this? And and between that and hit detection, those were the two big things that were continually coming up this week. I did see a tweet that came out from Rainbow Six saying that they were aware of both the issues and that they were definitely working on them still. And I know they've been working on them since the beginning. Hopefully we see a big change coming out. Maybe they'll have something to announce at the Invitational. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of stuff we're going to get about year 2 at the Invitational. So I am super excited about that, as well as watching everybody play some amazing games. This past week we had some new headgears coming out. So to lighten the mood a little bit, what do you guys think about the new headgears? I mean,
Terrifying.
I like them.
Terrifying.
Do you like them?
Yeah, I like
You
them.
like them?
I'm
I know a
not
lot-
one for extreme realism, so
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That's so dumb. Oh my god, I hate these arguments. Like, dude, we
Yeah.
need some more realistic headgears put in. It's like you want a different shade of camo. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
like,
no,
if
I
I
want some
wanted-
exciting things.
Yeah.
I want
if
some
I
exciting
wanted,
things. It's
realistic
silly.
headgear, I would join the army and get
Right,
like, a
exactly.
painted helmet.
We're playing a
Well, I
game.
know a lot-
Have some fun
Yeah.
stuff.
The word here that you guys are looking for is immersion. It takes me out of the immersion when
Yeah,
I see a
man.
clown face. So
Yeah, and I also
no,
take breaching
I'm with
charges and
you.
I use them on barricades.
Yeah, and I use
the
heavy barrel.
immersion.
I use the immersion barrel.
I pull a metal wall out of the middle of nowhere, out of my pocket, and put it up on a wall. Yeah, so I
Yeah,
I was wondering what you guys thought about them.
I'm tired of hearing about like immersion. Like it's a game. Then this
Yeah.
is clearly it's more supposed to be a competitive shooter and less a realistic shooter. If you
Right.
really think about it, if you want your immersion, like maybe like Arma
Go play
would be
Vegas.
a better game.
Or
Yeah.
Arma. Yeah.
Well, I think that's the thing, right? They're changing this franchise with this game. I mean, Rainbow
Oh,
Six
Absolutely.
has always been just realistic, and it's kind of like, hey, look, sorry, that didn't really work from a money perspective or a fan perspective anymore. So we're gonna move this way, which I'm glad about, and I really
Yeah.
enjoy it. So
Yeah, if you look at like the
Um,
market of games, what's really more popular now is like competitive based games, like Overwatch, League of Legends, Dota 2, what some other games, Smite. They're all like the most popular games out right now. Call of Duty even, and they're all based around like being highly competitive and highly like win sort of games where like it's not focused on immersing you in like some cool environment. It's about winning and like being competitive and being the best. And like I think that's kind of what they were going for. They kind of noticed the trend
Right.
on what's popular. I think it's good that they followed because I personally enjoy those games more than like immersion based games.
Right.
right,
It's more accessible to the vast public. The game's way more popular. The people that you see really complaining about these things are the older fans. And yes, you do have to stay true to some of the core of the game. It's Tom Clancy series. But that being said, little cosmetic things don't really hurt the game. And at its core, if you want a game like Rainbow Six, like Tom Clancy's, maybe Rainbow Six Siege, Vegas 2, a game that people love for 2 years and then never touch again, sure, get your immersion going
Right.
on. But if you want a game that's going to last long, if you want a game like Counter-Strike that has some longevity to it, then you need to a certain extent, you gotta bend to the casual community a bit. You have to be fun. And if the only thing introduced is different shades of gray as headgears, one, they're not going to sell, and two, people won't stay in the game. Because what we see, and I know that we're not going to have skin betting or all that other stuff, and that's kind of done already, but that alone is what launched Counter-Strike into the thing that it is currently. It catapulted it into the spotlight. Is the skins, that element of the game, the cosmetic things in the game that have no actual detriment in real way other than upsetting someone who's like, my immersion. And if I mean, look, I'm biased. I am. But when I see someone crying about immersion, when I see someone complaining about a crazy headgear that shouldn't be allowed in the game, I see someone that cares about the game, someone that really likes the game, one, and two, then you have people the exact opposite way. So I'm almost kind of happy to see people complaining about it because one, I know that they care about the game, and then seeing just as many people on the other side of it also right the opposite way, also doing the same exact thing, complaining the other way around, like, no, we need this kind of stuff, we need these cosmetic type things. Only people that I don't think I really add to it are the people like, wow, it's taken away from the game balance and from fixing bugs. If you want,
I don't want the artist trying to fix my bugs in the first place.
That's how you get.
They
League
probably
of
won't
Legends.
fix them. Yeah.
yeah,
That's how you get the
different
spaghetti
teams.
code. Dota
Yeah,
as a minion.
oh man,
It's like
No,
people don't understand the very difference between the two. If you said the difference between a race car driver and you want that race car driver to go over and become like a painter, an accountant, they're two different professions. Same thing with
Well-
someone who's a graphic designer and someone who's a programmer. 2 different professions. So
Well, I had, we've been fortunate enough to know some of the guys there. I can tell you that they want this game to succeed more than we want it to succeed. Right? I mean,
Oh,
they want it to be the best game ever and have the most fans in the whole world more than we do, because obviously it pays their paycheck, right? And they want a franchise that they can hang at the top with all the other games that are being streamed on Twitch, and which it is right now. I mean, it's in the top 10 almost every time I get on now. So that for all that, for those reasons of when we get these new headgears and we get these new charms or whatever it is that we get, I really hope we get more shields. Man, I really want some more crazy shields. But as we get these, those of you out there like, oh, like Remor said, I wanted to spend time fixing my network. It's not the same group. So just to make that very clear, it's not the same people. I meant to ask you guys this, Remorse, because I mean, obviously, Slash, I think he's going to be in love with it, but I already know his opinion because he won. But what do you think about Skyscraper being in the rotation already?
love it.
Did you like it? Okay. You guys think it's obviously we talked about it last week being one of the better DLC maps.
Definitely.
You guys put it up there as one of your top 5 maps now?
It's a map that I really like. I see a lot of potential in it for an evolving sort of meta on the map that obviously wasn't there yesterday because we haven't really had time to play it at the top level, but I think it should turn into something really cool and fun to watch eventually.
Yeah. I'm excited to see it. I was happy to see it in the rotation.
Yeah, I see Skyscraper, and I see a map that for the next 6 months we're going to constantly see new evolving strategies, new bomb sites to be played on. I don't see Skyscraper as a clubhouse type map where there's realistically 2 bomb sites that you can play and that's it. I see it more as a border, a map where you can play multiple different bomb sites. While there are the more popular bomb sites, realistically, most of the bomb sites are viable, and it's more so there's no bad site, like a really terrible site like Cafe Bakery, but rather sites where some are better than others. And you eventually get to the point where as a player, as a strategist, you start to weigh, is it better to take the map that is defensively more consistent, or is it better to take the map that I know that not many teams are prepared to take? Because although it might be weaker defensively, if the other team isn't prepared to attack that site, if they bring something like a thermite and it's completely unnecessary for that site, well, then looks like you've just taken out one of their frag rolls. And it might be something where that might be totally useless and you've gained a very minimal advantage, but not a huge one. I mean, but that's really what everything is at the competitive level. It's these tiny little advantages. It's these tiny gains here and there to get the leg up on another player. So,
man, I'll tell you, I saw some of y'all's angles yesterday and things you guys do. I couldn't wait to get home and try them out, man. It was a lot of fun really watching all the pro players and seeing those different angles. And as a player and a fan of the game, it is awesome to watch PC players especially play, because you guys play. It does play different. Like you can watch the tournaments; they do play different, right? And from PC to Xbox, but it is really cool and really awesome to watch you guys play these different maps and even play Skyscraper, and we see how you guys played that, and just think through some of the things that I have never thought through, because I don't play on that level. So I do have a quick question for you guys that I noticed yesterday. A lot of people playing Smoke, like Smoke taken a lot yesterday on the defensive side. And is this due because of the new changes with him, or I mean, what do you think, Slash? What's causing people to pick Smoke a lot?
I think it yesterday probably had to do with Montaigne, considering C4s are no longer a good way to kill Montaigne. It's one of the best ways to stop him since, shield doesn't really affect that.
Right.
Also, just I guess with this new Hibana meta, and it's a lot more stuff being open, it really helps a lot more to be able to stop, like, maybe even for like 10 seconds, be able to stop a certain like pathway into the site, in which like you can kind of use them like, they open 3 ways in the site, but we can smoke this one off and then fight the other 2 right now and then deal with that 3rd one. And just it's really good for stopping pushes, and his guns are good too. That shotgun is like nuts at killing people, let alone like making holes in walls. Like
Right.
you have the SMG-11, which doesn't have the ACOG now, but didn't really change anything because you can still hit your shots with it with the hollow.
Right.
It's like the same gun still. But he's just like overall probably the best like utility op because he can do so much like
Do you think-
compared to other ops.
Do you think changing how he tossed those smokes made an impact?
Oh, it did because there's a lot more angles now where you can sit safely and throw smokes. Where before, like you had to like expose yourself and move, like be a lot closer to the action. But like for like on club as an example, there's a lot of like long range smokes you can throw from like really safe positions that like will reach all the way to the back of bomb sites to stop plants. And like
Right.
stop like smoking drop downs and whatnot can be done like basically from blue now. They go so far that I think that helped his pick rate a lot too, considering like it's a lot more safer now to use those gadgets.
Yeah, I'm glad they just let his arm finally go through the full motion instead of giving him a like half arm, like, ugh!
Yeah, it was really
This bomb's
awkward.
so
It was a
heavy,
really
this one's so
awkward thing to
heavy.
throw
Ugh.
last time.
Yeah, it was I never understood why they made it. It just didn't make any sense.
Yeah, it didn't
uh,
feel. It felt like weird. The animation, like the weight of the smoke, it didn't feel right. Now it feels like
That's
It feels like it should. It's an
Yeah.
actual throw.
yeah.
It did
That's
not make
the
sense.
heaviest 2 ounces of smoke in the whole world. You guys just didn't know it.
It's literally like air and like some metal. Like you probably shouldn't.
Yeah,
be that
it's,
heavy.
it's like a little tiny little pipe that he's just like,
Yeah.
like it's like he's flicking. He used to flick it out, and now he can play behind bombs. He can play behind just anything that he wants to, and be much safer now. And that's the biggest reason why we're seeing him picked. We saw somewhat of a rise in Echo in the first 3 weeks of this patch, where people were like, "Oh, well, maybe Echo, and he can contest the bomb and prevent the bomb from being planted." But that might only be true for ranked. When you go into ESL and the bomb timer is now 7 seconds to go down, those 2 extra seconds mean that you have 2 to 3 more ticks of damage, which means that Smoke, not only now can he deny the plant, he can completely shut down areas of play for up to 45 seconds, provided that he's spacing out the smoke grenades. So that kind of ability on a 3-minute timer is invaluable. And
You think
Echo
you'll see
is
it
somewhat
lowered?
inconsistent. What?
You think you'll see those gas or his smoke grenades lowered as far as how much
Nope.
the time lays around?
No, they'll stay this. If those get lowered, he just won't be picked. Is the thing. Like he's picked because of the fact that he can deny the time, and it really kind of ties into your whole strategy. If you have a good roam team that can slow down the enemy team and make them not be able to enter the bomb site until about a minute, it means that Smoke can single-handedly shut down a push for up to 45 seconds, provided that they're not going from multiple angles. But even if they are going from multiple angles, that's 15 seconds for your team to rotate in and to readjust to win that push. So Smoke is invaluable, and if they reduce the time, which would be really asinine for them to do, it wouldn't make a lot of sense for them. They've already removed his C4. They removed his ACOG. If they remove something else, he just won't be played.
Yeah.
If they reduce the timers too much, and maybe he'll still probably be played if they reduce the timer by like 3 to 4 seconds, just because you'll space them out more. But if they do any more than that, if they reduce the damage, if they do anything else of that nature, I just don't see him being played as much. I really don't, because that's his big. That's like his thing. Like the reason he's picked is because he can deny. So if that gets removed, then
Slash, I heard that you speak of Montaigne. I heard you and Remorse have a love. You share a common love for Montaigne and the RNG that's shot from his pistol. So why don't you tell me a little bit how you feel about that?
It's really annoying. It's like probably the worst thing that you have to deal with ever. Because basically you can't hit him, you can't shoot him back. You just literally try to like run around and hope like he misses 6 bullets before you die.
Yeah,
Like it's just,
honestly,
it
it's
just
worse
doesn't
than
make
Blackbeard.
sense. Yeah, and like it's been insanely accurate. Like sometimes, like it's weird. Sometimes like they'll shoot 3 bullets and they'll all hit me and I'll go down right away from like pretty far too, probably like 20 meters. We were playing against one of the Asian teams, and every time he shot at me from 20 meters away, I would get downed in like the first 3 bullets because they would all hit me.
Yeah, I think
Ridiculous.
I was thinking about this. They either have to really make the fall off rate, like at distance, really, really minimal, and also give his spread a lot more. Give it a lot more spread when he's shooting in shield.
He just needs the spread increased. I liked that they did the C4 reduction. That made Montaigne played more. But when Montaigne was played more, players began to discover, hey, if you run the Magnum laser sight and you just don't move, he has a spread of about 6 inches, like a diameter of 6 inches. At like 5 meters and a little bit, and it increases by just a little bit, truthfully. And if you're just going one shot at a time, it's really great. When I say 6 inches, I mean you're shooting the thing. Like you're doing a double tap, you're doing a triple tap type thing. And in most cases, when Montaigne's actually being utilized is within 10 meters and within 5 meters. And in those situations, now what we're seeing a lot of times is where Montaigne, a shield operator who is focused around being a support character who's supposed to stop incoming fire, being sent in solo to deal with roamers, because he can very easily just stop in his position, shoot twice, down every roamer. Because you're not gonna see a rook roam, you're not gonna see anything like that. Your only roamers are 2 speeds or 3 speeds. So you send Montaigne in, and if he can just 2-tap down any of the roamers that you're most likely going to encounter, obviously if you get like a rook upstairs like roaming, then 1, weird, and 2, you send someone else. It's just like, it's not a good gameplay element. When you have an element of the game that focuses around sending someone in who's invulnerable to C4, who can't be shot when he full shields into a corner, and there's a lovely little bug going around where if you are, I mean, it's already been said many times, so I'm just going to say it again, is if you're just if you're holding left click as you unextend the little earlier radius that I spoke of being around 6 inches is even tighter.
Yeah,
It's an even tighter spread.
Yeah, and when you talk about like playing, when you hold left click, it will shoot the second like the game will let you shoot.
Right, which means he's not exposed.
Which means based on like there's always a little lag in online gaming, and especially like when you get some players who have like 100 ping, 120 ping to the East servers, they do it, and on your screen they won't even be unextended yet, and they won't be able to be meleeed, and it just will look like they shot you while fully extended.
Yep.
And it's just really, really bad thing to have in the game and have to deal with, because you don't feel like you got outplayed. You feel like there was nothing you could do to stop it.
Right.
Well, Prime Griffin in chat brings up a good point. What if they he's asking, what if they made him the only 4-speed character?
4-speed?
Yeah.
Montaigne 4-speed would be
Faster than
No.
Ash?
Yeah, faster than Ash. Let's go.
Yeah, no. So what if they made him slower though? What if they didn't make him slower? What do you guys think
maybe
about that?
while he's extended fully, like it couldn't hurt. I think that might be a good way to stop a lot
like
of
Blackbeard speed while having the shield full extended.
It makes
That
sense because like it would give you some counterplay to it, where if you see it, you kind of are able to outrun and like hide from him.
Right.
Where now like you can, but like it's really not the greatest strategy to do it, because he can still keep moving forward and keep up with you enough to keep like a really good like accurate like I guess like a good range to hit part you still while moving forward.
What if they shorten his shield whenever he is firing? So like what if it's not as long as it is right now, going down, basically to his knees? What if they shorten it a little more to give you?
I honestly that wouldn't really fit with the theme of the character of being a mountain.
Right. And it would also be nerfing the wrong thing, which like I've like talked about before. It's just like it's nerfing it's not the root of the problem. The root of the problem isn't that he's a fat. Like the root of the problem isn't that he's too fast or isn't that his shield covers too much. It's that this hip fire is the only pistol that you can hip fire with a shield that has this kind of accuracy with this kind of damage. And I mean, the way that competitive play just kind of works is that you abuse whatever mechanic exists until it's dead, because all the other teams are going to do the same damn thing. So you're forced into abusing that mechanic until it goes away, because like if you don't use it, well, the other team will. So you're giving away free rounds, and it's terrible to play as a roamer. Yesterday in the event, that in that qualifier, I was at 1v3 and I was able to take out the other two operators, and it was just me versus Montaigne. And I was playing as a Valkyrie, and I was downstairs Clubhouse Arsenal, and I could not get rid of the shield. If you're against a competent shield player, all they have to do is just face you at any given moment. And the second that I end up running out of my bullets shooting his hand, which really doesn't do a whole lot of damage with the MPX, it means they have a lot of free reign to do the kind of thing where all they need is a half-second moment to unshield and shoot twice, and then they win. That's all they do. Unshield, shoot twice. And if you're within 5 meters, you're guaranteed to get a down, if not a kill. And that kind of mechanic where you can't even see for them, it now means that they don't have a counter. And we shouldn't be in a state where you have shield operators typically be like, oh, well, you see for them, or you set up a crossfire. Well, a shield operator should not be a one-man band. He shouldn't be the one-man killing machine that you're like, oh, there's a roamer up there, send the Montaigne. Because we start to draw some similarities to back in season 1, season 2, where we saw the 2-2 shields. Young, famous for this. Run in as a recruit shield and just smack everybody to death. It was awful. It was awful because it had not only back then we had the parry mechanic, and we had the fact that the shields were a 2-2 speed. And that was miserable to play against. They were too fast for C4 and too fast for crossfires because they would just sprint in and then just smack people. And now we're kind of having that issue creep back again. People forgot how much more the game focused on direct gunfights and how great the game was now that Blackbeard's been nerfed. Now that we have operators that are more focused around actual aiming, because this is an FPS game. We should focus on encouraging good aim, encouraging skillful play. And when that play now reverts to a RNG based thing where all you have to do is crouch and just tap twice and hope to God that you hit them in the chest or the legs or anywhere on their body to down them, and that player has no actual counterplay, that's not a good mechanic for the game. That does not encourage good play, and we are going to see this invitational plagued by it. Yeah, and I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate that exists.
It's gonna be tough. It is tough to watch that. I think you guys had some good ideas. I think maybe you make him a little bit slower when he's fully extended, and then obviously make the spread larger.
Yeah, I think even if they just made the spread larger, which is something you can do relatively easily as like a change, and same with the movement speed, it would pretty much fix like all the gripes people have with them.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Well, we're about to get out of here. Let's jump over to this week's topic of the week.
Intel incoming for this week's subreddit topic of the week.
So the topic of the week I have here today is another one, another change to the game that people are crying out for. It was put on by Stingmar, and the title of the post was, "Have the developers ever looked outside a window?" ? And obviously he goes on to rant here a little bit about, am I the only one that thinks that the lighting in Rainbow Six is horrible? Obviously, he hasn't been around since season 1 or from beta, but it has gotten better. What do you guys think about the lighting, though? Is there still a lot to be done?
Hell of a lot better than it used to.
Yeah. There's some weird I don't really notice it as like map wide things now, but like certain windows themselves just have weird properties that make looking through them really hard. But like overall, I think everything's been a lot better. Like there's like some weird rooms on maps where they have like the inside of the room has like a flashlight in it, or like a sort of like a floodlight, and it just makes looking in there like completely awkward and like really hard because it's just super bright looking through like that little like spotlight.
Right.
But overall, I think most of the outside lighting problems have been fixed, at least for me. Maybe I changed some of like my NVIDIA settings, like my digital vibrance and like my brightness and all that, to like kind of make looking out of them a lot easier, and like some settings with my monitors or my monitor. So I don't know if that's what's making it seem okay for me or not, but for me, it's not really like a top issue anymore.
What about you, Remorse?
I feel the exact same way. I mean, I'm curious what setting Slash is running and stuff, but
Secret.
I
Can't have them.
Okay. A lot of the settings, like truthfully, as long as you're not running a too high as long as your contrast isn't too high, as long as your game balance or your game settings with your display is relatively balanced, for the most part, I do genuinely think the lighting is a whole hell of a lot better. But that being said, that could just be because I've experienced the previous lighting, where every single room that had a window was a blinding sun. Whereas now it's just like, only some of them are like that. And I'm like, this is great. I can see in at least half as many more rooms now. So I would say it is better. It is better.
I noticed on console, I was playing the other day, and I did notice that you know where the spiral stairs go down to the basement, and there's that window that looks at that back. What is that? The southeast spawn, whatever. A lot of people bust out that bottom window. I did notice that. Like I tried multiple different scopes on there, and I did see way different lighting features. Even from a reflux to a holographic, the change in how that lighting looked on that same map was very. I need to go grab screenshots of it, but like with the holographic site, it was like blastering white, and I couldn't believe it. And maybe it could be a problem too that we're all like a lot of us are on console, right? I play on console mainly, so I wonder if we don't have as many settings that we can change up on ours as we basically we have a contrast feature and that's it, right? And brightness. There's not really any other features we can really change on the PlayStation. But
what's the pack of smokes cost? Your smooth skin.
What?
Did you get that weird pop up in the back?
Spencer.
What is cigarettes
Slash,
costing you?
what have you done? Hold on.
I didn't do anything. I didn't press anything.
It says Spencer Oliver has shared a video ad.
I don't see it.
Yeah,
I don't see his video.
It's done now. Like, okay.
Way to go, Spencer. Trying to make money on our show here. See it?
Wow.
But I do see changes with different scopes. But I'm like you. I think that the biggest thing is we experienced what season 1 and beta was like. So it's way better than it was for sure.
One of the big reasons ACOGs was so popular at the start of the game was because it's like the only way you could maybe
actually
see through a window.
Yeah.
If you were lucky, you could see through the window with the ACOG, but like Hollow, you could never see in a window.
Right.
Especially not like anything without zoom, you couldn't see.
Yeah, it was almost as if like at a certain point, like it seems like the lighting was calculated at the position where the camera was in a way. And like so if you were zoomed in, right? And like that point of where the lighting is calculated is a little bit more towards the window, so it wasn't as blindingly bright, whereas the hollow sight is a one-time scope, which means that its lighting was calculated just as if you were standing there, just as if it would be with iron sights. And it's because of that reason, it's because of the fact that the lighting actually adjusts with the higher zoom scope. That's why ACOG's so damn popular. And that's why, I mean, yeah, it's nice to be a little bit more zoomed in and to see a little more see a little bit more of the site, or to be a little bit more precise when you're looking at pixel peaks or using a pixel peak. I would, if lighting was totally fixed, I would be only using hollow sights because you get more vision overall. And I'm able to, I mean, I don't know, I used to be a Counter-Strike player, so I actually prefer the less zoom screen because that way I can see more. I'm confident in my aim to be able to hit things. I've been pretty much just playing hollow sight weapons anyways. It's just that the only issue with the hollow sight right now is that the lighting adjustments are a little bit better for the ACOG. The lighting isn't as bad when you use an ACOG. So if they fix that, I would definitely say that you're going to see a little bit more even spread between ACOG and the other weapon sites.
For sure. Yeah, and I don't know how long you've been playing Stingmar, if you even hear this, but for a lot of you guys, maybe that just picking up the game, for us, like we're saying, it's way different because we've seen the flip side. It's gotten a lot better. So maybe try out different scopes. Maybe try getting used to an ACOG a little more, and that way, maybe it'll help you out on your lighting. Change your contrast features, like they were saying. Every week, I want to try to give a shout out to somebody that posted a video on the Reddit page. And there was one posted this past week by Gabic22. And you can go search on YouTube for this. The title was Rainbow Six Siege Frost Map Guide or Mat Guide. And it was a really cool video. I haven't showed you this yet, Remorse. I'll have to share it with you. But
okay.
It was by a guy called or page. I guess their YouTube channel is Corrupted Save. And narrated by a guy named Jack Lockjaw. And basically with Gabic, whenever he posted, he said, hey, the quality of the video, the way that the placement of the video went and how effective it seemed to be for him, he wanted to share it. And it basically just goes over effective placement of mats and, probably things that you guys think about all the time about, don't place a mat right in front of a door. Don't place it necessarily right up the top of, the top of a staircase. Place it where maybe you would step into a room and where you would go, right? And some really good ideas just about mat placements in general. And so if you guys want to check that out, like I said, it's by Corrupted Save is the name of the channel, and the name on YouTube, the title of the video is Rainbow Six Siege Frost Mat Guide. So go check that out. If you guys have a video during the week you want to shoot it our way, you can always tweet it at us, and let me or Remorse know, and we'll watch it, give it a watch, and shout it out as well. Or if you guys see a topic on Reddit, always feel free to shoot that over to us, and we can use that one. Slash, we have a tradition here at the end of the show. I'm guessing maybe Remorse is telling you because I typed it to him to try to tell you, but
I forgot.
We go out with basically saying what you say when you die. So what you get frustrated with when you die and you're frustrated, like what is the phrase that comes out of your mouth? So when I say mine, and then Remorse will say his, and then you'll say the last one to get us out of here. But as always, guys, thanks so much for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. As a reminder, we are live on Twitch each week at twitch.tv/Remorse at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So all of you that are listening to the podcast, really appreciate a couple thousand of you guys that downloaded last week. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate all the feedback. You can also leave us feedback on iTunes and on Siege Podcast or siegepodcast.podbean.com and tell us what you like and what you dislike if you have any ideas for the show. You can also follow us on Twitter at Siege the Show. Follow me on Twitter at TooLoudTX, Remorse at Astral_Remorse, and Slash at /8. I'm going to spell it so people get it, because if you say /hug, they're going to put in an extra 8. So it's SLASHUGR6. So you guys can go check him out there. And until next time, guys, get real with it.
How?
Was I supposed to go?
Yep.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Dude, fucking hit reg, dude. It's broken.
It's broken.
Never stop until the threat is neutralized.